We get started in the middleweight division. It's a battle of experienced submission specialists as Rafael Natal faces Paul Bradley, who has won 4 straight fights and tonight makes his UFC debut. Minnesota's Paul Bradley and Brazil's Rafael Natal took vastly different roads to the octagon. But one common thread between these two middleweights is the desire to pursue mixed martial arts glory and let fight fans around the world see what they can do in the octagon. Riding a 4-fight winning streak, with each win coming via submission, the Ultimate Fighter Season 7's Bradley is finally making his long-awaited UFC debut. Natal, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, also prefers to submit his foes, making it clear that the first fighter to blink may be the one on the losing end. Our tale of the tape for this middleweight matchup. Bradley, the American, making his UFC debut. He'll give away some size, especially with the reach advantage of Natal being 5 inches. Here's Bruce Buffer.
And when the action begins, our referee in charge, Kevin Mulhall.
Kevin Mulhall will be our referee. This fight scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds in the middleweight division. Natal fighting for the 3rd time in the UFC. Bradley set to make his UFC debut.
Okay, fighters, are you ready? Are you ready? Let's fight.
Here we go. Black trunks for the 2-time All-American from the Iowa Hawkeyes, Paul Bradley. Blue trunks for the Brazilian Rafael Natal.
And Natal, as we said, even though he's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, does have some very good strikes. You saw Phil Nurse in his corner from the Watt. He's working with him on his Muay Thai. And I think with him, a big part of this is going to be how well he fights off of his back. If Bradley can get a hold of him and put him down on his back where he wants this fight to take place, the big questions are, what kind of a guard does Natal have?
Bradley comes in and tries to strike first.
Because even though there's a lot of high-level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts in the Ultimate Fighting Championship, the reality is there's not that many of them that fight very well off their back.
And in that same spectrum of trying to break down the fight, Joe, it'll be interesting to see if Rafael can put Bradley on his back with that tremendous takedown defense that he has from all his years in wrestling in college and high school, and the fact that he's so powerful. Quick jab connects for Natal.
Nice inside leg kick as well. Yeah, as I said, Natal is no slouch on his feet, and that's where he put Luter away. Stopped him with strikes in the first round. And, you know, we've seen Luter against Anderson Silva, and Luter's a very tough customer.
.90 seconds into round 1. Paul Bradley 18-2.
Sorry, Bradley is already bleeding out of the nose, and I think it was from that real stiff jab that connected.
And he tried to connect again with it.
Yeah, Natal's got that nice long reach.
And he steps into his jab too, Joe.
Yeah.
Again, you see there, which even covers more distance.
And we see some improvement in his striking. You know, from his fight with Rich Atenito, it looked a bit more tentative on his feet in that fight. Of course, Atenito has some serious power in his hands, but Natal definitely looks smoother.
Nice welt on the left leg of Bradley as well from one of the couple of leg kicks that Natal has thrown.
Bradley throws a high kick himself. Bradley's really got to get something going here, Mike. He's waiting on Natal too much, and Natal's getting comfortable. With Natal's reach advantage and what appears to be a striking advantage, Bradley's really got to get something going here. Nice front kick to the body by Natal.
Be interesting to see, Joe, if he shoots for the takedown. Of course, you shoot on, you know, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, there's a danger there.
Certainly a danger in getting caught in a guillotine or some sort of a choke in the transition, but again, we have to see how good Natal's guard is. And, you know, right now, the question is, can Bradley even get him down?
Yeah.
Because that was an attempt to grab a hold of him and easily shook off by Natal.
Rafael with the teep again. Switched his stance just momentarily a second ago, which just shows what you talked about, Joe, how much more comfortable he is getting with his striking game.
Well, Phil Nurse out of the Watt is one of the most respected, very nicely dodged takedown attempt there. by Natal. Really did an excellent job of shucking off Bradley. But we say Phil Nurse is one of the best Muay Thai trainers in MMA, and his experience with not just training guys Muay Thai, but Muay Thai for MMA is so evident in guys like George St. Pierre, who he's worked with extensively, and so many other fighters. He's one of those guys that is sort of a go-to guy that people are bringing in now to work on his training.
Bradley pushes forward.
And Bradley's still unable to get a hold of Natal. He made a big rush there and was completely unsuccessful. And that's got to be discouraging for Mr. Bradley.
And you can see the result of the multiple leg kicks. That inside leg kick left a welt on the lead leg of Paul Bradley, which as the fight continues is going to make it even more difficult for him to shoot the double.
Yeah, Natal's got some hard kicks, because you see it even in the bottom of his, where his calf is, where he's checking those kicks. He's just really hitting hard. The inside, the outside, that left leg has already lost quite a bit of its mobility. It's really like he's painting him with his shin. You can see the exact spots where he's hitting. Oh, there Bradley connected.
He was able to counter off the inside leg kick.
But he needs to move forward when he does that. He had a chance. Natal got staggered for a brief moment, and Bradley sort of just hung back and watched his handiwork. You can't do that. Those brief openings, you really have to take advantage of them.
Final seconds of round number 1, Natal and Bradley.
Ali, ó. Respira. Não? Respira.
Tá certo?
Vai, ó, tá tipo. Ó,
I won the round.
vai, ó. Olha, só não quero a mão caindo e o queixo
À
alto.
esquerda.
Yeah, start to fake the shot, come in, re-engage the shot, and then take the shot, all right? But once you get in there, you got to get him on top, start getting pressure on him, all right?
Okay.
Make him feel the pressure, start to wear him down. We're going to wear him down on the ground, all right?
Yep.
All right, so be smart in there. Set it, though. Set it up. But be a little bit, think speed. All right, you've rung his bell a couple times. You got a couple good crisp shots. All right, so.
And here we see Natal over and over again is landing those very hard leg kicks. Bradley checked that one, but it's still doing a lot of damage. Got the inside leg kick work and the outside. Natal's really just beating up Paul Bradley's wheels.
Paul Bradley, 5-fight win streak, 4 wins by submission, unbeaten in his last 6. Oh, nice combination, big right hand.
Oh, man.
Swinging back was Natal.
He hurt him.
Chasing him down is Bradley. There's the takedown.
Did exactly what Greg Nelson asked him to do. Put the pressure on him, land some shots, get on top. Did exactly what Greg Nelson asked. And he just threw himself into the fire, Mike. He knew that if he was standing on the outside, the way he did in that first round, he was going to get picked apart. And so, really, did exactly what he needed to do there. Now he's on top.
Yep, Natal trying to control that posture.
What Bradley's got to be careful of is the left leg of Natal that's pressing up against the cage, because he's going to use that to try to reverse the position. And now that left leg is off, but now Natal is in full guard. And Bradley trying to push down that knee, gets half guard, but he has to protect his left arm. He's got to protect his left arm from the Kimura, and that's why you see Natal controlling that wrist. But he doesn't have his left arm free. Natal doesn't, to try to attack.
Natal, a very decorated Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. All kinds of titles.
He's very, very solid on the ground, but as we said, a lot of guys, even though they're excellent at submissions, they're not that good off their back. But look, Bradley made a huge error there in stepping out. He gave way too much space, and he allowed Natal to get back up. Now, all that work for nothing. Although he did do some damage with his punches and getting in.
Landed a big couple of punches on the way to the takedown. So a good start here in round 2 for Paul Bradley.
Well, he must be thinking that he gave that first round away. He knows he really didn't land anything significant, but he also knows that he got his legs beat up.
And again, he was leaning down, reaching for that one. Got to be careful.
Yeah, he can't take too many more of those. His left leg is really bruised up. If Natal just kept picking away at those legs, he's going to see some significant damage.
Bradley has lived his life on the mat. As we mentioned earlier, two-time All-American at Iowa, was a wrestling coach for a while, and now a full-time mixed martial artist, and he's done it for a long time out of the Minnesota Martial Arts Academy. 4 years since we saw him briefly on The Ultimate Fighter Season 7. Switch of the stance for Natal.
Again, Bradley is a big guy. It's hard to imagine him in this current state losing another 15 pounds. He must really cut himself dry to get down to 170.
That's that old wrestler mentality of embracing the grind. Fukuda was the original opponent, a grappler. Then Philippou, a striker, and now this powerful wrestler in Paul Bradley facing off against Natal. Nice combination by the Brazilian. That stiff left hand again. Almost got clipped. 90 seconds on the clock here in the second round.
Well, this is not the game that Paul Bradley wants to play. This stay on the outside and throw jabs for two reasons. One, because Bradley throws very few kicks, which allows Natal to keep his distance. Natal, his primary attacks seem to be leg kicks. It allows him to have, a good solid 6 inches to a foot of distance that he can utilize that Paul Bradley can't. Bradley wants to get in, close the distance, and punch. Like that, see? He's got to really make this big leap.
And Joe, the only time most times we've seen Bradley strike, it's been counter only.
Yes. Well, except for that beginning of the second round.
And it worked brilliantly.
Right, which is what he needs to do. Laying on the outside is ridiculous. He got poked. Oh, unfortunate.
Neutral corner.
Natal using that 5-inch reach advantage as we check on Paul Bradley.
Okay? Yeah. If you need a doctor, you're going to be able to continue. You good? Okay. Watch your fingers. Watch your fingers.
The action continues.
Time in.
See, what Paul Bradley, the mistake he's making is he's playing like a kickboxing game. Standing on the outside. What he needs to do is do exactly what he did in that second round, right in the beginning, rather. Just bum rush him. As soon as he sees it, there he goes.
Right there.
That's it.
Boom. This could be a huge takedown late in the round.
Excellent job. That's what he needs to do.
Big takedown late in the second round for Paul Bradley.
Right, and that's 2 takedowns for him and some nice damage. So if he can land some shots here to solidify this, instead of just holding Rafael down. All right, here's the beginning of that second round. He clipped him with that right hand and just turned it into a slugfest and hit him with a nice left hook there, chased him down, got a hold of him, dropped him down. There's a nice right hand there. You see he's staggered. Hit him with a left, clipped him a little bit with a wrist there. Didn't quite connect with the punch. And this is the end of the round. Got a takedown, but wasn't able to get any damage going from that.
Hit that right hand. All right? Okay. Because right now, he's tired. You can press him, right? This is third period. Press it hard. Win this fight right here. Take him down, take him apart, all right? Take him down, take him apart, okay? Go for it.
Greg Nelson.
Pressure.
So funny, that wrestling background, they keep calling it a period.
Yep.
It's third period. Old habits.
Old habits. Natal and Bradley, 5 minutes remain in this fight. And with the 2 takedowns in the second round, very even fight.
He clipped him again. This is what Bradley needs to do. Turn into a slugfest and take the openings, capitalize on them, and take them down.
Let's see if he leads the striking game here at all, or if he continues to counter, try to grab the leg.
Caught that front kick, but good takedown defense by Natal and a nice knee to the body. A couple of them by Natal.
And that made Bradley let go real quickly. Again, like Joe and I spoke of, he's normally 170 when he competes, so 5'9", 185 tonight is Bradley. Natal is 6 foot tall, 5-inch reach advantage, southpaw now, and Natal has used it wisely.
Also, the height disadvantage really comes into play when you consider how kick-heavy Natal's attack is.
Natal, the aggressor here early. Another inside leg kick. He's really mixed his kicks up nicely.
And a lot of guys don't check that inside leg kick very well. You know, some guys allow the inside leg kick to carry, go for that takedown again. A lot of guys allow that leg to just swing out instead of checking it like he does, just allows it to go with the flow of the kick. But you take a lot of damage and you see it on the inside thigh.
The spinning back fist just missed of Natal. And again, he's going to shoot for the single, and nope.
Good takedown defense by Natal.
And Natal's conditioning looks excellent tonight. And he talked about losing the battle of conditioning against Bongfeld.
That's what he wants. He wants the double. Once he gets those hands clasped, that's what, wow, great takedown defense by Natal. And a good punch in the middle of there. Oh.
And a knee and a combination. That right there might be a microcosm of this fight.
I believe Natal might have hit him low there and Bradley was reacting to it, and then he got punched. He just got clipped with a left.
And it was a straight left from the southpaw stance.
And again, Natal sneaks out. Nicely done.
Natal clearly winning the stand-up battle, and with this great show of takedown defense in the third round, making things very difficult for the UFC newcomer. Boy. Again, the combination lands.
That inside of Bradley's leg is a mess. It's really welting up now, Mike. And he presses forward again. The single is not working for him. Every time he's tried the single, Natal has been able to turn his hips and kick his leg out of there. But the double has been successful. The problem is right now Natal has that underhook on the right side, so Bradley knows he's not really going to be able to complete this. He's waiting for an opportunity to switch positions, but the referee steps in. He's tired, and that's also part of the problem. And you see on his face the effects of those long punches by Rafael.
Under 90.
Oh, another poke to the eye, man. But I don't think the referee even saw that one.
They continue the battle. Switching his stance again, another leg.
There's a takedown.
Caught him, can he keep him down and do anything here?
He's got to stay on him. Nice hammer fist from the bottom by Rafael, and he's got it out. Wow. Nicely done. And Natal's in excellent condition, and that's what we're seeing in his third round. Bradley took this fight on short notice, and he's starting to show some fatigue, but Natal is able to move very well, and especially avoid that takedown. That took a lot of energy out of him, but he still looks good.
"40 seconds. Slips under the punch. Another nice knee
to the body, yeah.
Well, Joe, the first thing you talked about with Natal is how his striking has continued to improve, and he's basically spent this entire night showing off his ever-improving striking, and it's working very well.
Well, Atenito beat him with strikes in his first fight. That was the big factor in that fight, and, you know, saw what he needs to improve, and he's working on it very hard.
10 seconds. Basically 2 takedowns, that's it for Bradley. Natal and Bradley go the distance.
You see as Draculino puts his shirt on, he's in pain.
But he kept bringing it. Bruce Buffer has the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for decision. The judges score this contest 30-27, 29-28, and 29-28, declaring the winner by unanimous decision, Rafael
His first career UFC victory. Rafael Natal by unanimous decision. Former world champion Mike Brown is determined to make his way back to the top at 145. The first step, take out Nam Phan here tonight. A 10-year MMA vet who finally hit primetime as a member of the Ultimate Fighter Season 12 cast, Nam Phan was on the short end of one of the most controversial decisions in recent history against Leonard Garcia. But he's determined to take matters into his own hands against Mike Brown. Brown, a former WEC featherweight champion who has defeated Garcia, Uriah Faber, and Jeff Curran over the course of his decade-long stint in the sport, has similar intentions as he pursues his first UFC win in what promises to be a fast-paced battle. Our tale of the tape for this featherweight matchup. Mike Brown, 35 years old, 7 years the elder of Phan. Mike Brown will have a 5.5-inch reach advantage. Here is Bruce Buffer.
And when the action begins, our referee in charge, Keith Peterson.
Keith Peterson, our referee for this fight at 145. Brown had talked a little bit, Joe, about maybe going to 35, maybe returning to 55, and then he just said, you know what, I belong at 45, and tonight's the night I start to make my way back to the top. In the white trunks, Mike Brown, dark trunks, Nam Phan. Nam Phan, very, very precise striker. Brown, extremely powerful. Big swing there.
Takedown attempt shucked off by Nam. And Mike will mix up those takedown attempts with punches.
He's used that overhand right twice now. Phan had a couple of nice wins during his time on The Ultimate Fighter, made it to the semifinals.
Nice left hook by Brown. Mike is throwing a nice front kick to the body as well. And now he closes the distance and he's got his back. He's got a hold of Nam Phan here. Nam working that takedown defense. Got to separate those hands. And Brown's got him down and he's pressing on him. He's got one hook in and he's softening him up with punches as he flattens him out.
Good start for Mike Brown. Good position. Let's see what he can do with it.
Yeah, he's almost got full back mount, just a little low below the hips and can't quite get those hooks in. And Phan is protecting that left leg, excuse me, the right leg. Notice how he slides it underneath because he wants to make sure that Brown can't get that second hook in. So he's turning his hips. And meanwhile, Brown is landing some solid punches.
Every single one of those is landing.
Well, they're arm punches, so they don't have a lot behind him. What Brown's trying to do is just open him up and trying to get him to give space so he can get the full back mount. Because right now he really is only holding on with one leg and one arm. And see how he's crossing his leg under and triangling his leg for some extra stability here.
Mike Brown, sorry Joe, looking for his first UFC victory.
Nam is just kind of taking these shots. Yeah. They're arm punches, but this is not what he wants to take. But see, that's what Nam wanted to do. Nam wanted to wait for a little bit of an opening and slide his left leg up and avoid that hook. And now Brown puts it back. But look how Nam tucks his right leg under. As soon as Mike Brown gets that left hook in, Nam turns his hips. It's an awkward position, but what it ensures is that Mike Brown cannot get that right leg in and get that full back mount. But Mike is holding on to Nam Phan's left wrist. See how he's tucking it in and keeping it in place?
Trying to get the arm in place there.
Right, but Nam is in a position where he's going to be able to roll over. As long, especially if Nam can get his left leg through. But there's already a bit of blood coming out, I believe, of the nose of Nam Phan. And it's from these short shots. And that's what he wants to do, get that left arm through and inside and then clinch him. Now he wrapped it around his head, but he's still, Mike Brown is still holding on to that the right arm of Nam Phan. What we call the seatbelt.
Couple big shots there. Trying to control the left wrist of Brown. Brown trying to improve his position.
Well, yeah, Nam's in a bad spot here. Nam's in a very bad spot here because now Mike Brown can put some leverage into these shots. He can turn his body into them. He is getting his face beat up here. I mean, again, these are not full power shots, but there's so many of them. The volume really keeps up. And Mike Brown is being very smart, is not letting that wrist go. He's holding on tight to that right arm and making sure that Nam can't get it back. And then he's also using that left leg to hook him in place. Nam might not ever get out of this spot.
It could be a long minute for Nam Pham.
Yeah, he's getting beaten up here.
And Brown is keeping kind of a systematic pace to these strikes on the ground. He's not punching himself out, but he's scoring a ton.
Yeah, and every time he gets real space like that, like here, now he can turn his shoulders into these punches. Well, Nam got his arm out.
Now the
nice elbows there. Oh, man.
See, those have a lot more power.
Yes, he's turning his body into them.
Can Nam Pham survive?
Oh, he's getting some hip in
the
that
next 25 seconds.
And Nam's up to his feet, but Mike Brown's got his back again. Nam's got to separate those wrists and turn out of this.
15 seconds on the clock here, round one.
He's getting some space, and Brown ducks right back under it, and Brown's got a takedown attempt here. But Nam is attacking with a... Nope, he's just hitting a switch.
Big first round for Mike Brown.
Nam Pham got beat up in that round, and let's see what happened. It all started with the takedown. And as Brown takes him down, he gets him down and very smartly controls the right wrist of Nam Pham and keeps it pinned down there. And it started out tight to his body with these just short arm punches over and over again to the face of Nam Pham. But as time went on, he was able to open up. And here you see him throw some nice elbows and some big left hands here, really able to torque his body into these punches. Nam took some shots.
You just need to get a little space, okay, to capitalize them, okay?
Stand up, work more on the left hook, okay? Really good overhand, but finish with left, okay? Breaking his will, man. Really breaking his will.
Let's go, my man.
Very rough first round for Nam Pham, and you see it on his face.
Sir, you ready? Sir, you ready? Fight!
Round two. Mike Brown has been good early in his last two fights, but has faded a bit as the fight continued. Let's see if he can keep that pace that he was able to utilize in round one. Good front kick.
Well, Nam Pham knows he doesn't want none of that anymore. He doesn't want to be stuck underneath Mike Brown, especially not in the position he was in the first round. So he's very aggressive here in this first, but that's a nice single here attempt by Mike Brown.
Trying to finish the takedown. Good takedown defense thus far by Nam Pham.
And Nam is trying to do some damage there in the process.
Both men 10-year MMA professionals. Nam Pham's fight against Leonard Garcia was the first featherweight fight in UFC history.
Nice, you got it. Nice, beautiful, beautiful.
And Brown trying to control that right ankle and keep it high and keep Nam Pham from standing back up again. But Nam gets back up to his feet. Nam pummels under and free. Much better for Mr. Pham.
And he has excellent boxing skills, Nam Pham.
Nice right hand by Brown.
Took the silver in Southern California and Golden Gloves years ago. And he's trying to open up with his hands a bit here. Nice jab. Oh, good combination.
Nam's opening up here.
Yeah, caught him with that left hook. And Brown doesn't want to exchange with Nam Pham. He wants to get this back onto the ground. Again, good takedown defense by the 27-year-old. Free again. 3 minutes on the clock, round two. Nice body shot.
Very nicely done. That good left hook. Oh, he's winging it to the right side as well. Or from his right side, rather.
We saw him utilize a ton of body shots during his time in the house on The Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, he loves the body shots. It's one of the most underutilized punches and techniques in mixed martial arts. Fabio Maldonado really showed that in that Kyle Kingsbury fight, what a good boxer can do with nice body punches. Very quick shot under there by Mike Brown.
Really good takedown defense here in round 2 for Nam Phan.
Well, he's motivated. That first round was brutal.
Yep.
You got stuck in a terrible position. Brown's got the ankles together. Very nice. And down. Brown on top again.
Under 2 on the clock, round 2.
And Nam is struggling here, trying to get to his feet. And Brown missed the hook. He missed that right hook, which would allow him to drag down. Nam is looking for a Kimura on the right arm of Mike Brown. Mike's got to be careful. And Mike's trying to slam him out of it. Now Nam no longer has it.
Not able to be taken down in round 2, Phan. Big, heavy right hand from Brown. Brown loves that overhand right. Nice combination, head body. Quick and crisp. The
Good
boxing of
left
Nam
hook there.
Phan.
Yeah, that was a nice left hook by Pham. I really like how he throws those shots to the body, Mike.
Well, he leans that shoulder in, Joe, and he gets the torque.
Nice uppercut by Pham as well.
And then he turns the hips over, and he really can punish the midsection of his opponent. There it is again.
Yeah, he digs in with that left.
Yep.
And the right as well.
That's
really,
the liver punch.
Yeah, really excellent use of body punches.
Gets that arm out wide and delivers it right to the liver.
Mike Brown just looked up at the time and decided it's time to take it to the ground.
Phan has certainly gotten the better of the stand-up game here in round 2.
That's it, Nam.
Final 30 seconds of the second.
Unquestionably a much better round for Nam Phan.
You know, Brown had basically, Joe, 1 takedown, and he just held on to that position for the first 5 minutes of the fight. Unsuccessful in round 2, trying to take down his opponent. And Joe, you can see Mike Brown starting to slow down a bit, and a lot of it's due to those body punches. They take a lot out of your opponent.
Unquestionably, and the grueling takedown attempts over and over again. He's forced to exert so much energy. And there we see a nice right and then left hook combination by Nam Phan. And there's a nice overhand right by Mike Brown. He likes to tuck his chin and throw that bomb over the top.
Come back upstairs. You've got to go past, okay? So don't shoot in the beginning. Let's take our time. Let's move your head, okay? Let's use the left hook. I tell you something, left hook, right hand.
Keep the contact, keep your base down, and lay a lot of shots on him. He's already slowed down and you've hurt him. But you've got to get him out of there. We got to finish this fight. We can't let this go to a decision, okay? You've got to get him out of there. You've got to keep after him.
That's a tall order from Nam Pham's camp. They think he has to get him out of there.
The beautiful Ariani, Shondella, Chrissy Hubbard joining us tonight. Third and final round. Nam Phan, Mike Brown, the former WEC featherweight champion. Stiff right hand.
Nice combination by Nam Phan.
Another big body shot. Head kick.
Yeah, he is really listening to his corner. Oh, big right hand by Brown. And another.
Starting to show a bit of a sense of desperation here. Looking for that big right hand again. Leg kick. Can he get it?
Nope. Nice knee.
Brown would be well served to try to wear down Nam Phan from this position.
Yeah. Good hand control, though, by Nam Phan. Oh, very nicely done by Mike Brown. Nam's using that cage though, and Mike Brown's trying to turn the corner to get behind him as he stands up. And Nam recognizing that, pushing down with his right arm. He does not want this. That's exactly what he wants to avoid. And to try to counter it, he's trying to attack with a Kimura on Mike Brown's arm. I can't see how Brown has his hands clasped together here, whether or not he's defending well enough. Yeah, Nam doesn't really totally have the Kimura yet. It's not really locked up.
And thus Fan is able to slip away. Just over 3 on the clock. Lead left hook for Brown.
Hey, you gotta pick it up here.
It's a big first round for Mike Brown. Good first round, good second round for Nam Fan. Pretty even so far here in the third.
And there's the takedown attempt again. And again, Nam immediately goes to lock up a Kimura. Nope. Lost the position. Brown goes to a single. Ducks down. Trying to pull those ankles out. Nam sneaks that right leg out and the left, and he eats a left hook.
Just past the midway point of the third and final round. Fan again looking for the body punch. Whip that kick over the head of Mike Brown. Brown with a short, strong right.
I like how Fan trying to sneak that kick in. There's a nice short right again by Brown. I like that front kick to the body by Mike. I wish he would throw some more of those. There's that takedown attempt, and he eats a couple hammer fists for his troubles.
Under 2 now. Brown desperately in search of the victory here. Oh!
That was a solid left hook by Fam. There's that front kick again.
He wants to keep utilizing that teep to keep Fan away from those big body shots. And again pushes his opponent towards the cage.
Well, Brown throws power in every shot, you know, and that's really exhausting. But if he hits you, you got problems.
Under a minute now. Fan's grandparents, traditional Vietnamese, very, very strict, and that was where he learned his discipline from his grandparents and then getting into martial arts at a very young age, starting in karate.
Mike Brown, very good job of holding on to the leg and turning with it to get Nam Fan's back. Less than 30 seconds to go.
Come on, man, you gotta break it here.
Final 20 seconds. Brown trying to hold on for a victory. Fight will go the distance. Judges will render their decision. Mike Brown with that big first round and solid in the third round as well.
In the first round, Mike Brown was able to get this takedown and hold on to it the entire round. Landed at first just arm punches, but then got some space and landed some power shots. But Nam Pham really recovered well in that second round and did a great job of utilizing his boxing, especially those hooks to the body. Real fluid punches and kicks by Nam Pham.
Mike Brown, 24 wins in his MMA career. Hoping that tonight he has earned his first win inside the octagon. Fought way back in 2004 in the UFC at 155. And since the merger with the WEC has been in the octagon twice. The former WEC featherweight champion. Goes the distance with the first generation Vietnamese American Nam Phan. Here is Bruce Buffer with the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for decision. The judges score this contest 29-27, 29-28, and 29-28, declaring the winner by unanimous decision, Mike Brown!
Huge win for Mike Brown. His first inside the octagon. The former champion, victorious here tonight. They are two fighters with similar strengths and the same undying will to be a UFC champion. But only one man will move up the ladder tonight as Mike Pierce fights Johnny Hendricks. Two former wrestlers who have started to hit their MMA stride in the octagon, Mike Pierce and Johnny Hendricks have emerged as top welterweight prospects and fearsome finishers. Oregon's Pierce rebounded from a fairly slow start in the UFC to finish off Amilcar Alves and Kenny Robertson in his most recent wins. And Hendricks' heavy hands have led him to victory over Amir Sadallah, Charlie Brenneman, and TJ Waldberger, making it very possible that the judges will not get a say in the outcome of this bout. Our tale of the tape for this welterweight matchup. Pierce, 3 years the elder of Hendricks. He will have a 2-inch reach advantage. Here's Bruce Buffer.
And when the action begins, our referee in charge, Mario Yamasaki.
Mario Yamasaki, our referee. The beautiful Ariani.
Here we go, first round, you ready? You ready?
Congratulations, Johnny Hendricks. Ivan Menjivar has represented the province of Quebec in the sport of MMA for over a decade. And tonight, he looks for his second UFC win as he battles the New Yorker, Nick Pace. On the calendar, just 5 years separate 24-year-old Nick Pace and 29-year-old Ivan Menjivar. But with bouts against everyone from George St. Pierre and Matt Serra to Joe Lozon and Uriah Faber, Canada's Menjivar has seen it all during his career. But Staten Island, New York's Pace is not about to be intimidated by his veteran foe. And considering the spectacular choke he finished Will Campazano off with in his UFC debut, he clearly has the talent to compete with anyone at 135 pounds. Our tale of the tape for this bantamweight matchup. Nick Pace, unbeaten in his UFC career, 6-1 overall. He is 24 years old. The pride of El Salvador, who fights out of Montreal, Quebec, Canada, Ivan Menjivar, 5 years his elder. Both are 5'6". Now, Menjivar did miss weight. He came in at 138, Joe, so he was fined, but he will fight tonight, Nick Pace, with the 4-inch reach advantage. Here is Bruce Buffer.
And when the action begins, our referee in charge, Keith Peterson.
Keith Peterson, our referee, for this bantamweight fight between Ivan Menjivar and...
I disagree with that decision. It was a great fight, but I believe Pace should have got the nod.
In the featherweight division, unbeaten and a true top contender for the featherweight championship, Chad Mendes is confident he will cash in on tonight's opportunity to take out Ronnie Yaya. A deadly submission artist who has forced the likes of Mark Hominick, Yoshiro Maeda, and Eddie Wineland to tap out. Ronnie Yaya is one of the most feared ground fighters in the sport today. But as he showed in his win over Mike Brown, he has more tricks up his sleeve, and he will reveal more of them in his bout with Chad Mendes.
I want to finish this fight as soon as possible. As soon as this fight goes to the ground, he will get tapped.
A professional mixed martial artist for less than 3 years, Chad Mendes is nonetheless torn through the featherweight division with a mix of talent, technique, and determination. Unbeaten in 10 fights, including wins over Michihiro Omagawa, Javier Vasquez, and Eric Koch. Mendes is on the fast track to a world title shot should he defeat Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt Ronnie Yaya.
This is a great fight for me to go out there and showcase my skills. You know, picking them apart on the feet, getting a big knockout, should definitely put me in there next for that title.
Our tale of the tape for this featherweight fight, unbeaten Money Mendes, 26 years old, as is his opponent, Ronnie Yaya, who will have a 2-inch reach advantage. Here is Bruce Buffer.
And when the action begins, our referee in charge, Keith Peterson.
Keith Peterson, our referee. The beautiful Ariani.
Sir, are you ready? Sir, are you ready?
Ronnie Yaya, Chad Mendes, here we go! White trunks for Chad Money Mendes. 10-0 in his MMA career. Ronnie Yaya, unbeaten. Inside the octagon, he defeated former champion Mike Brown back at Fight for the Troops earlier this year.
And Yaya, make no mistake about it, absolutely wants this fight to go to the ground, whereas Chad Mendes said in the pre-fight he would like to keep this fight up and try to knock out Ronnie Yaya. Now, Chad has had experience against very high-level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts in the past, and more recently fought Javier Vasquez, who is an incredibly talented Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu artist, and it definitely will help him in that experience to prepare for Yaya. He was able to keep Javi from executing any techniques on him to put him in danger, and most of the time controlled the fight and controlled the takedowns.
Mendes said of Ronnie Yaya, he is probably the best Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner in our division, but he feels he lacks stand-up. Thus going back to the game plan that you talked about, Joe.
He most certainly does. He is really a specialist. Yaya is a very, very technical Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighter, and there you see that inside leg kick, which certainly went awry.
You good?
There's a company, and they've invented a compression short that holds the cup in place, and it can prevent a lot of this stuff.
Okay, keep me clean.
A lot of it is just that the cup moves around the jock strap, and it doesn't stay tight enough to the groin. And then, of course, there's the tie cup, the steel tie cup, which is tied in place.
Old school style.
Old school, which is very effective, but a lot of people feel it's uncomfortable. Yaya obviously really trying hard to close that distance. One of the things he showed in the Mike Brown fight, Mike, is improvement in his wrestling. And that's something he's definitely going to need to keep working on if he wants to take the fights to the ground. Because quite honestly, his stand-up is rudimentary at best. It's really, he's got that sort of Hickson Gracie style where his stand-up is really only there in order to get the clinch and to get you to the ground.
Inside leg kick attempt by Mendes. Longtime training partner of former champion Uriah Faber. And many have said Chad Mendes is Uriah Faber 2.0. One of those guys is Uriah Faber. He really, really likes the company of his teammate and believes that he will be a champion in the future.
Well, that whole alpha male team that they've got up there in Sacramento is a really spectacular training camp. Nice inside kick and punch by Mendes. And all of them are solid wrestlers. And, you know, that wrestling base is what I've always said is the bottom of the pyramid, the most important aspect of mixed martial arts, because the wrestler is the one who can dictate where the fight takes place. And that is exactly what we see so far in this fight, where Mendes is utilizing his wrestling to make sure this fight stands up. And Yaya is forced to try to close the distance, and he's eating punches and kicks in the meantime.
Mendes, a two-time Pac-10 wrestling champion, two-time Division I All-American. Uriah and Chad Mendes, Joseph Benavides. And there's a difference, too, when you get into these big battles between grappling cardio and stand-up cardio. And that's why you see Mendez and Faber and that whole team Alpha Male always in tremendous condition.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of guys who are great grapplers, and you have them hit the pads for 3 minutes, and they're exhausted. It's a lot of it is about efficiency, and Hani Yahya is not that efficient with his stand-up. It's awkward, and he's rudimentary. But his jiu-jitsu is off the chain. And if he gets you to the ground, he could submit you very, very quickly. He's not a physically imposing looking guy, but he can squeeze your neck like no other.
A lot of it is just with the stand-up game, getting comfortable in knowing that everything doesn't have to be the fastball. You can mix things up, and you don't tense up when you throw the punches and drain your cardio.
Well, and it's also completely alien to grappling.
Right.
The moves are all explosive. It's all snapping things out, lunging forward and backward. It's just so different than the techniques you would use in a technical game of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is what Hani grew up doing. Like, you see when he throws his kicks, it's like a white belt throwing, right? You're not going to hit a guy who's like a very skilled striker.
Final minute of the round.
There's a takedown, but
thrown down.
Notice he threw him down.
Yes.
And had no intentions of following him.
No reason to jump right into the fire. Nice shot to the body.
He really turned that over well.
Ronnie Yahya defeated Mike Brown in his UFC debut, a fight in which Brown took on short notice. He has fought at 55, 45, dropped to 135 at 07 for a title shot in the WEC against Chase Beebe.
Flying knee.
Final seconds of round one.
And so far in the first round, Mendez has been able to impose his game and keep this fight on the feet,
Have a seat.
where he has a clear advantage.
There you go. Good feeling. Beautiful. Hey, we just need more work.
And here's the takedown, and notice how he just throws him down, which is so unlike Mendez, but it just shows you, and there's a nice left hook to the body, it shows you how much respect he has for the ground game
beautiful. I want you to open
of
up
Yahya.
more. Look at his shots, look at his takedowns. Look, I don't want him getting away with that sloppy kick, you know what I mean? If he throws that whack kick, come in hard with your right low kick, you know what I mean? Come in hard with your right. The flutter jab, straight right, beautiful. Set your up kick up a little better, you know what I mean? It's there for sure. You're doing great. I want more activity. I want you to open up less respect for this
Good
guy,
advice
okay?
from the
Turn it around
Alaskan
now. It's round
Justin
two.
Buchholz, UFC veteran, longtime member of Team Alpha Male. Round two.
Sir, you ready? Sir, you ready? Fight.
Here we go. Yahya has trained lots in striking, but as Joe's talked about many times, to become very proficient in that takes a long time. Big takedown by Mendez, and look at how tight Mendez stays on the body of Ronnie Yahya.
Yeah, and he has to do this, and he's got to be very careful here. He's playing a dangerous game here. Yahya is a constrictor. He's one of those guys that if he can get control of you, and he lost it. He just gave a little bit of space there.
Stayed smothered to not allow Yahya to try to set up any type of submission. Yahya even utilized some open hand strikes.
Well, a lot of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu artists, when it comes to MMA, they have this one flaw in their game when it goes to the ground where they expect that the other guy is going to grapple with them, and so they leave space. What they have to think of is if you want to keep this fight grappling, you got to clinch a hold of that guy like you're stuck to him and give him no air. But in a pure grappling match, which is what Yahya did most of his life, you have that freedom. And so there's old habits that really become deficits in an MMA competition. And you saw that. Yahya had the ground game going. He had a grip on him, and he let it go.
Three-time World Jiu-Jitsu champion, 2007 Abu Dhabi World Champion in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Pushing forward is Yahya. 16 wins in his MMA career. Over the top, Money Mendez. Mendez was hopeful at one point that tonight he would be fighting for the title against Jose Aldo.
And again, a takedown. Now, Yaya, he knows that he made a mistake the first time he got him to the ground. He's got to hold on to him here. And he's not. He really doesn't have a good grip on Mendez. It's up to Mendez whether or not this fight stays in the ground. And this is a position that Mendez found himself in over and over again with Javi Vasquez. But he was able to defend. And right now, like, Mendez can get out anytime he wants. And Yaya, that is the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu history. That's what it is. It's just, he's got so much time in just regular straight grappling. He expects Mendez to grapple him.
Oh, nice left by Ronnie Yaya.
Nice left hook by Yaya.
Aldo not cleared in time for Mendez to fight him for the title. But Chad Mendez, very much like Chuck Liddell in his day, said, I'm not going to wait for anybody. I will fight, continue to win. I'll get my shot when it comes in time, and I will earn my shot. And when I do, I'll put the belts around my waist. And UFC President Dana White loves those type of attitudes.
Well, it's also very important at this stage of Chad's career for him to get experience.
Yes.
He doesn't really have that much time in MMA. He's so talented. He's got so much promise. But there's a nice straight right hand. But he really needs the octagon experience.
So tonight he fights fellow WEC veteran Ronnie Yaya. Another connection. 90 seconds on the clock here in the second round. Oh, just missed with that uppercut.
And Yaya is still looking to try to solve the riddle. And it seems that he has resigned himself to swinging wild haymakers as Mendez gets close. And if he can get one of those to land and stagger Mendez for a second, then he's going to try to shoot for the clinch.
A pro since 2008. And Mendez knows, as you said, in tonight's fight, no reason really to take it to the ground, but oftentimes that wrestling instinct just takes over. You see the opening and you just shoot for it.
Well, as long as he keeps Yaya on his back, he seems to be able to defend himself. Because, again, Yaya lets him go, And now Mendez got the clinch again. Yaya defends it, lands a left hook.
Final 30 on the clock. Second round, featherweight battle. Ronnie Yaya, Chad Money Mendez, 10-0. Tried to slip and rip there. Ten seconds. Round two complete.
Have a seat.
And then we see Chad ducks under these punches, gets the takedown. And here, Ronnie lands a very nice left hand. It was sort of like almost like a palm strike. Didn't quite turn the knuckles over. And there's a right hand from Mendez.
Blasted. Okay. I want big left hooks, slapping left hooks, straight rights. 1-2s right down the pipe. Jab the head, jab the body. A lot of forward. I want you to come out and put it on him right from the bell. All right? Okay. 5 minutes.
It's beautiful. Keeping the head in the middle. Did you see?
He's got nothing for you grappling. You want to take him down and beat his ass standing up? Standing over him? Let's go, Chad. 5 minutes.
Chrissy Hubbard, our guest octagon girl tonight.
Sir, you ready? Sir, you ready? Fight.
Third round. Buchholz really wants his teammate Chad Mendez to continue to be the aggressor, to get to the spots first, to set the pace, and another takedown.
I found it interesting that Buchholz said if you want to take him down and beat him up, he's got nothing for you on the ground. That's a very dangerous attitude.
It's a good way to get yourself submitted, right?
Yeah, Yaya is keeping that overhook on the right arm of Chad Mendez. He's got to keep it very, very tight. And what he wants to make sure here is that the fight stays on the ground. He doesn't want Mendes to be able to just get up at his discretion. And the way to keep it on the ground is he's got to stay tight to him and clinch him and control the back of his head.
And again, Joe, on his back, he's throwing open hand strikes. He's not throwing punches as Yahya.
Right, he's just trying to open things up. But right now, you know, quite honestly, he's not really holding on to Mendes. Mendes, if he so chooses, can get up. Look how loose the guard is. It's open. Now he's at least got a hold of the neck. He's got an arm pinning the neck down, and that left arm of Mendes could be in jeopardy. The way he's doing that and extending his arm, that's tricky.
Mendes restricting the breathing of Ronnie Yahya a moment ago with his left hand.
See, like right here, Yahya. All right, now Yahya at least has a leg over him to keep him from backing out, but now he doesn't. Now it's a wide open guard. All Mendes has to do is just push him away. Nice elbow.
Mendes very, very strong, very powerful.
Well, this is the position that he found himself in with Javi Vasquez on several occasions, where he was able to stifle him off of his back and hold him in his guard and land shots.
Again with a quick elbow.
For Yanni, this has got to be really, really annoying to him because he finally got the fight down to the ground.
Nice.
He's getting beat up, though. He's got to figure out a way to sneak his hips out. Notice how he's doing that? And he's trying to turn and perhaps go for an omoplata, locking that left arm in place by Mendes, but he doesn't really have it.
Mendes with some big shots to the midsection.
He needs Mendez's arm closer to his body to pull that off.
Just the strength and power of Mendes making it very difficult for Ronnie Yahya to set anything up.
Yeah, Hani tried to switch it to the left side, but again, it's only because Mendes is choosing to grapple with him.
Looks up at the clock. 10-0 Chad Mendes. 2:15 remains in this battle.
And again, Mendes with the takedown, and Yanni almost caught a guillotine choke there. And now Mendez's left arm is in a situation here. If Hani can get that left leg, or excuse me, his right leg up and across the face of Mendes, and he's trying to set him up for a guillotine as well.
His arm is free and the elbow's thrown.
When Mendes is so comfortable here, he's very confident that Hani's not going to be able to do anything to him.
Competing since age 5, met Uriah Faber in high school, worked some wrestling camps with him during their college summers, and now longtime teammates at Team Alpha Male in Sacramento, California.
And again, he tries for that omoplata, a little lacking in the flexibility by Hani.
Big elbow again by Mendes. Trying to remain unbeaten and keep himself in prime position for a shot at the UFC Featherweight Championship.
Yeah, what this is, you know, Hani just does not have that kind of Charles Oliveira guard. You know, Hani's a monster if he gets your back. He's a monster if he gets on top. But he really wasn't able to do anything from that straight guard position to Chad Mendes.
Oh, front kick by Mendes. .45 now. Counter left by Yahya. Oh my!
Oh!
And Mendes ducks under.
And Yahya will throw himself into the fire to try to take this fight to the ground. And that's exactly what he did in the Mark Hominick fight. And he fought Mark Hominick. He got tagged and dropped over and over again, but managed to eventually get a hold of Hominick, transition to his back, and put him to sleep. Excuse me, get the tap, almost put him to sleep. But what was interesting about it was when he was interviewed after the fight was over, he had no idea what happened. He had no idea. He literally choked out Mark Hominick. Whoa, look at that flip.
Mendes, pure power. A huge difference here tonight.
What I was going to say is he tapped out Mark Hominick on reflexes alone. And look at this crazy flip by Chad Mendes. That's the kind of thing you do when you know you're winning.
Yep. It was all about takedowns, though. When he wanted to, he took him down, and then he got back up.
Yes, it was all about him doing what he wants to do. You know, I mean, I've always said that the wrestling is the bottom of the pyramid, the most important aspect of mixed martial arts, because it allows a fighter to control where the fight takes place. And this is what we see over and over and over again with Chad Mendes, superior wrestling. And unfortunately for Hani, he was just not able to get anything going off of his back. Looks like Chad hurt his hand.
Good job, Chad. Every round.
Bruce Buffer has the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. All 3 judges score this contest 30-27, declaring the winner by unanimous decision, Chad Money Mendes.
Money is 11-0. And he'll visit with Joe.
All right, I'm here with the winner, Chad Money Mendes. Chad, first of all, congratulations. It looks like you might have hurt your hand there. What happened?
Yeah, I think it was in the beginning of the second. I hit him, and I felt it pop a little bit, so I don't know if it's broken. It's hard getting in there fighting when you hear that kind of stuff and you can't squeeze.
Well, in the first round, you were taking him down, you were throwing him to the ground, and then you were stepping out. But it seemed after a while you got more and more comfortable with being on the ground with him, and then you were taking him to the ground and standing on top of him. What was the game plan going in there? Was it to throw him down and walk away, or was it to stay on top and pound on him?
Yeah, I mean, first off, we wanted to get in there because you never really know what somebody's going to feel like till you're in there with them. So we wanted to kind of fill it out that first round. You know, try and pick him apart a little bit on the feet, get him thinking about that, and then take him down. So
once you got him on the ground, you just felt comfortable enough with defending?
Yeah, I mean, I basically knew that I could stay solid enough to throw some elbows and do just enough to.
Well, congratulations on another victory over a tough guy, and can't wait to see you again. Chad Mendes, ladies and gentlemen.
Living up to his nickname of the Mauler, Alexander Gustafsson will look to add Matt Hamill to his list of victims. With finishing power in his strikes befitting his nickname, Alexander the Mauler Gustafsson surprised some fans with his submission win over Cyril Diabate. But when he tapped out James Tahuna as well, it was clear that the Swedish product has grown up, which is bad news for the light heavyweight division and Matt Hamill.
It'll be a good fight. I will keep it on my feet, try to pick him apart with my jab, stuff his takedown, and knock him out.
With 4 consecutive fights against John Jones, Keith Jardine, Tito Ortiz, and Rampage Jackson, Matt Hamill has cemented his reputation as a fearless warrior willing to take on the best at any time. Tonight, the Hammer will go to the well once more to dig deep and find a way to stop the winning streak of Alexander Gustafsson.
There's no game plan. I'm going to be very aggressive. I'm going to attack him more, knock him out with submission. I'm going to finish this fight.
Our tale of the tape for this light heavyweight matchup. Matt Hamill, 10 years the elder of the Swede Alexander Gustafsson, who is 4 inches taller, but the reach is nearly identical. Here is Bruce Buffer.
When the action begins, our referee in charge, Dan Murgliata.
Dan Murgliata will be our referee. The stunning Ariani.
You ready, Matt? Let's go fight.
Fight scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. We are underway. Red trunks for Gustafsson. Black and purple trunks for Matt the Hammer Hamill. Not the original Hammer, but a Buckeye like the former UFC heavyweight champion Mark Coleman.
Yeah, I guess there's no copyright on the Hammer.
At least he didn't get it in time, right?
Gustafsson trying to keep the distance, and Hamill is controlling the center of the octagon right now.
In the fight against Rampage, Matt Hamill said that he didn't go after it. He got it kind of stuck in neutral, and tonight he said, I'm not even going to go in with a game plan. I'm just going to go in and fight, let it go, not get too complex. So let's see if he opens up.
Good right hand there by Gustafsson. You know, I attribute that to Rampage.
Yes.
Rampage's takedown defense was outstanding in that fight, as was his striking. You know, I think Matt felt like he couldn't get it going, but I attribute that to how in shape and prepared Rampage was.
Hamill with the long jab. Continuing to progress with his striking skills. Ate an uppercut there, though.
Very nice. And again, Gustafsson goes to that. Gustafsson very tall, 6'5". That long reach certainly comes into play.
Circling on the outside of Matt Hamill. Hamill had that spectacular head kick knockout of the night in his home state in Columbus, Ohio, back a few years ago against Mark Munoz.
It looked like Gustafsson connected with that uppercut again. Their back was to us, or Hamill's back was to us, so we couldn't see where it landed.
Saw the Superman punch coming.
Kudos to Gustafsson for going to train with Phil Davis after Phil beat him. Knew he needed to work on some things, and, you know, what better way than a man who has already solved your puzzle.
Finished 7 fights in the first round, has the Swede Alexander Gustafsson, who's 11-1 overall.
And he just landed a couple of nice right hands there.
The proud Philadelphia, Pennsylvania crowd chanting USA for Matt Hamill.
Unfortunately, he's deaf.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, I guess that's for themselves.
Correct. Hamill, such an inspirational story. Movie done about him.
Did you see it?
Yeah, not yet, not yet. Great personality. I heard it was absolutely spectacular, though. And that's always interesting too, Joe, in communication with your corner.
Yeah, certainly. It's a huge disadvantage, but he believes it's an advantage to block out the sound because it's one less sensory input that he has to deal with. Oh, nice left hook there by Hamill.
Hamill trying to continue his evolution as a striker.
He cut Gustafsson.
Spent some time with Mark Delagrati at Team Sityodtong in Somerville, Massachusetts, in preparation for this fight.
Hamill really not committing to the takedown, Mike, just sort of grabbed the leg, but really didn't dive in like we're accustomed to seeing him do.
Maybe he is more confident with his striking than we've seen in past fights.
Maybe, but he did it again. You know, I mean, he's sort of almost like 50 or 60% with the takedowns, not really committing 100%. Nice right hand there.
He's found an opening a couple of times. The cut on the right side of the face of the Swede Alexander Gustafsson.
He's looking for that switch kick.
Hamill taking this matchup on short notice. Wanted to get right back inside and compete after the Rampage fight. Final seconds of round 1.
Sit down. Sit. That's it. Breathe.
And there we see a good straight jab by Matt Hamill. And there's a nice left hook. And he did a good job of covering up right after that as well.
With a little bit more punches, all right? Yeah, all right. Keep that right hand bestemmed with the uppercut, all right?
Hey, you felt the strength already, okay? Now let's put a bit more pressure. You felt his hits, you felt this pressure. Yeah. Start letting go.
Lloyd Irvin amongst the cornermen here tonight for Alexander Gustafsson.
2 punches if we take an angle. 2 punches we take an angle.
That's nothing, Alex. That's nothing.
Every time
right?
you
Let's go, seconds out. Let's go, seconds out.
The beautiful Shondella. Back here in Philadelphia, last stop was UFC 101. Tonight, UFC 133. Evans versus Ortiz.
Ready? Ready? Let's go, fight.
Pretty close round number one, Joe.
Yeah, fairly uneventful round. Gustafsson landed a couple of uppercuts, and Hamill, of course, landed that jab and left hook that we saw. There's a good combination by Gustafsson.
And they said in the corner of Gustafsson, you felt his strength now. And that truly is one of the biggest assets on the fight card of Matt Hamill. He is incredibly strong.
Yeah, a lifetime of grappling. It's hard to describe that kind of strength unless you tie up with a man like that. And it might not be the same strength as weightlifting strength, it's the ability to move body strength.
Hamill, very experienced. 11-3.
Now he's committed.
But the majority of his fights, Joe, have come inside the octagon. Gustafsson with the uppercut.
Gustafsson is taking it to Hamill now.
Yeah, he's starting to turn it up.
Well, Hamill again unsuccessful with his takedown attempt.
And now Hamill's right eye has some damage.
The last time Hamill took anyone down, it was Tito Ortiz.
That back at UFC 121 in Anaheim. Tito, his coach on The Ultimate Fighter. The battle for position, but there's been no pure shot for the takedown attempted by Matt the Hammer Hamill.
And this is a nightmare to score. You know, both rounds are fairly uneventful. Gustafsson moving around, throwing a lot of shots. How many of them are connecting clean? Like, look, there's all that covering up. You definitely see a little bit of a cut over the right eye of Hamill, so something got through.
And the cut from round one around the right eye of Gustafsson.
Gustafsson seems to have some blood coming out of his nose as well. Nice leg kick.
Matt Hamill has fought 4 world champions during his days in the octagon. Rich Franklin, John Jones, Tito Ortiz, and most recently, Rampage.
And he's trying to spear Gustafsson with that jab. Really stepping in. He's got a very hard jab.
Past the midway point of round 2.
There it is.
Yep.
Yeah, he really lunges forward with it nicely. And there's again the takedown attempt. Gustafsson nicely avoids it.
Well, if you want to build up your takedown defense, train on a daily basis with Phil Davis.
Oh! Gustafsson
Big
tagged
shots
him.
by Gustafsson. He's in trouble. Gustafsson looking for the finish. Hamill's in big trouble here. Alexander Gustafsson.
He's got his back.
He's back of the head.
Full mount.
Trying to finish this fight is the Mauler.
That's it.
It is all over.
Very nicely done.
Alexander Gustafsson defeats Matt Hamill.
And that's why they call him the Mauler.
Greg, 334 TKO.
And here you see, it's the left hand that got through. That's the one that rocked him. And there's the uppercut too, and that second one dropped him. Hamill in all sorts of trouble here. Let's see it again. The front kick, and there's the left. That's the beginning, and there's the uppercut, and then the second one drops him. And Alexander Gustafsson is a finisher. When he gets a guy hurt, jumps all over him. And here you see full mount, just dropping elbows and punches until Dan Mergliotta has seen enough.
4-1 inside the octagon, 24-year-old Alexander Gustafsson defeating Matt Hamill here tonight in Philadelphia. And with the official decision, here is Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Dan Murgliata has called a stop to this contest at 3 minutes, 34 seconds of round number 2. Declaring the winner by TKO, Alexander the Mauler Gustafsson.
Congratulations to the young Swedish star.
All right, I am here with the winner, Alexander Gustafsson, with a spectacular performance. Listen, Matt Hamill is a very tough guy and a very difficult guy to stop. You've got to be pleased with your performance tonight.
I'm super happy, man. I can't believe it. I'm up in the sky right now. It's a dream come true. I want to thank my main sponsor, Bad Boy. I want to thank my home club, Nexus Fighting Center, Team Alliance, Andreas Michael, Rick Del Fiero, all the guys, Phil Davis, Travis Brown, Dominic Cruz, everybody, all my guys back home in Sweden, thanks.
You were able to stuff the takedowns. How much confidence did that give you to engage more?
You know, I felt good. I'm not super pleased because I was a little bit like, I don't know, like, I didn't know how to do in the beginning, but in the second round I felt better.
So in the beginning you just had to get your timing right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's take a look at the end, because you caught him with a series of blows. You started off with a kick, you had him backing up, and here's the left hand that did the damage.
Oh, yeah, that's the combination. We've been working like back in the gym. You know, I want to thank my family, my sister, my mother that's here. I want to thank London Shoe Fighters too, all the guys, John Hathaway, Carlos Demola, thanks.
It seemed like the uppercut was something that you also had a lot of success in with this fight. Is that something you prepared for?
Yes.
Well, listen, congratulations on a huge victory. He's a very tough guy. We look forward to seeing you again. Alexander Gustafsson, ladies and gentlemen.
Alexander Gustafsson, victorious tonight, his 3rd straight win inside the octagon, a rising star in the light heavyweight division.